Listen, I want you to understand something that most people will never grasp in their entire lives. The way you begin your morning isn't just some feel-good ritual or productivity hack. It literally determines the trajectory of your entire existence. Think about it. You wake up, and in those first few minutes, you are making a choice. You might not realize you are making it, but you are. You are either going to take control of your state, your focus, your energy, or you are going to hand that power over to everything and everyone else. Most people lose the game before their feet even hit the floor. They wake up and immediately grab their phone. They're scrolling through emails, checking what everyone else is doing on social media, reading the news, letting the world's agenda flood into their consciousness before they've even decided what their own agenda is. They're consuming before they're creating. They're reacting before they're acting. And then they spend the rest of their day wondering why they feel overwhelmed, why they feel behind, why they feel like life is something that is happening to them instead of something they're directing. Here is the truth. The first hour of your day is the most valuable real estate you have. It is sacred ground. It is where you set the tone for everything that follows. Master your morning and you master your life. It is not complicated, but it is absolutely critical. When you wake up, you have this incredible window of opportunity where you can consciously choose the state you want to operate from. But if you don't claim it, somebody else will claim it for you. Your boss will claim it. Your kids will claim it. The news will claim it. Social media will claim it. And suddenly you are living in a reactive state, bouncing from one demand to another, one crisis to another, one distraction to another. Now let's talk about state, because this is where everything changes. Your state, your emotional and mental state, is the lens through which you experience your entire life. When you are in a peak state, challenges become opportunities. When you are in a suffering state, opportunities look like threats. Same situation, different state, completely different outcome. Your state determines your story. It determines what you notice, what you focus on, what decisions you make, and ultimately what results you get. And here is what is powerful. You can control your state. Most people think their state is something that just happens to them based on circumstances. They think, well, I am stressed because my job is stressful, or I am unhappy because this situation is bad. But that is giving away all your power. Your state isn't determined by external circumstances. It is determined by what you focus on and how you use your body. When you wake up in the morning, you are in a relatively neutral state. You have the opportunity to deliberately engineer the state you want to be in. You can prime yourself for confidence, for energy, for gratitude, for certainty, or you can let the world dump whatever it wants into your nervous system and see what happens. Let me tell you something. They'll transform your life if you really get it. There is a direct link between how you move your body and how you feel emotionally. It is not some abstract concept. It is pure physiology. When you change your physiology, you change your psychology instantly. Not gradually, not eventually, instantly. You want to know why? Because emotion is created by motion. The way you move, the way you breathe, the way your body, it all sends signals to your brain about how you should feel. Think about this. Have you ever seen a depressed person with their shoulders back, head up, breathing deeply and moving powerfully? It doesn't exist. It is physiologically impossible to feel depressed when your body is in a peak state. Depression has a posture, confidence has a posture, fear has a posture, courage has a posture. And the beautiful thing is, you can change your emotional state in seconds by changing your physical state. When you wake up in the morning, if you want to take control of your day, you've got to move your body with intensity. Jump, dance, sprint in place, do push-ups. Get your heart rate up, get your blood flowing, oxygenate your brain. What you are doing is sending a message to your entire nervous system. We're alive, we're strong, we're ready. You are not waiting to feel motivated. You are creating motivation through movement. You are not hoping energy will come. You are generating it. Most people wake up and shuffle to the coffee maker like zombies, wondering why they feel sluggish. Then they drink caffeine to try to force their body into an energized state. But you can create that state naturally, powerfully in minutes just by moving your body with purpose and intensity. When you do this every single morning, you are conditioning yourself. You are training your nervous system to operate at a higher level. Now here is the other piece that most people completely miss. Gratitude. You want to know the fastest way to change your emotional state? Practice gratitude. I am not talking about some superficial, oh, I am grateful for my house kind of gratitude. I am talking about feeling it in your chest, in your bones. Think of 3 things you are genuinely grateful for right now. Not the same 3 things you list off every day. Really find something that moves you. It could be something as simple as the fact that you can see, that you can walk, that someone loves you, that you have food to eat. Why does this work? Because you cannot be fearful and grateful at the same time. You cannot be angry and grateful simultaneously. It is neurologically impossible. Gratitude is the antidote to all the negative emotions that sabotage your life. Fear, anger, frustration, resentment. They can't coexist with genuine gratitude. Most people wake up and immediately focus on what is wrong, what they don't have, what went wrong yesterday, what might go wrong today, what is missing from their life. And that focus becomes their reality. Whatever you focus on, you feel. Whatever you focus on grows. When you train yourself every single morning to focus on what is beautiful, what is working, what you appreciate, you are literally rewiring your brain for success and fulfillment. Your brain is the most powerful tool you have, but most people never learn how to use it effectively. Here is something that will blow your mind when you really understand it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something you vividly imagine and something that is actually happening. Think about that for a second. When you visualize something with enough emotional intensity and sensory detail, your brain starts firing the same neural pathways as if you were actually experiencing it. This isn't mystical nonsense. This is neuroscience. Athletes have known this for decades. They mentally rehearse their performance over and over, and their brain creates the neural pathways for success before they ever step onto the field. So every morning after you've moved your body and felt gratitude, you need to visualize your day with absolute clarity. See yourself showing up as the person you want to be. See yourself handling that difficult conversation with grace and confidence. See yourself being patient with your kids, even when they're pushing your buttons. See yourself crushing that presentation at work. See yourself making the healthy choice at lunch instead of reaching for junk food. Don't just think about it. Experience it. Feel the emotions. Hear the sounds. See the details. Make it so real in your mind that your nervous system believes it has already happened. When you do this, you are not just daydreaming. You are programming yourself for excellence. You are creating a blueprint that your brain will follow throughout the day. You are rehearsing success. Most people stumble through their day reacting to whatever comes at them, making it up as they go along. But when you've already lived your day in your mind, when you've already experienced yourself succeeding, your brain recognizes the pattern and helps you execute it in reality. You are priming yourself to notice opportunities, to make better decisions, to respond instead of react. You are essentially giving your brain a roadmap for the day, and your brain loves having a clear direction. Now here is where most people completely lose the game. They have no clarity on what actually matters. They wake up with 50 things on their to-do list. They're trying to do everything, and they end up accomplishing nothing significant. Let me tell you something. If everything is important, nothing is important. You need to get crystal clear on the 3 most important outcomes for your day. Not 10 things, not 20 things. 3, what are the 3 results that would make today a success? What are the 3 things that if you accomplish them, everything else will be secondary? Write them down. When you write something down, you are not just recording it. You are dramatically increasing the likelihood of it happening. It moves from your head into reality. You are making a commitment. You are creating accountability. And here is what is powerful. When you know your 3 priorities, you can say no to everything else without guilt. You can protect your time and energy. You can focus your attention on what truly matters instead of being scattered across 1,000 different directions. Most people fail, not because they're lazy, but because they're trying to do too much. They're majoring in minor things. Here's what most people don't understand about their own behavior. You are running on patterns, neural patterns, emotional patterns, behavioral patterns. And most of them are completely unconscious. You wake up and reach for your phone. That is a pattern. You feel stressed about work before you even get there. That is a pattern. You snap at your spouse over small things. That is a pattern. These aren't conscious choices you are making. They're grooves that have been carved into your nervous system through repetition. You've practiced these patterns thousands of times, and now they're running automatically. You wake up stressed because you've woken up stressed for the last 10 years. Your brain has learned that waking up equals stress. You check your email first thing because you've wired that habit so deeply that your hand reaches for the phone before you are even fully conscious. These patterns were created through repetition. And here's the good news. They can be interrupted. They can be replaced, but you have to do it consciously. You have to decide that you are going to install new patterns, patterns that serve you instead of sabotage you. This is why the morning ritual is so powerful. It is not just about having a good morning. It is about pattern interruption and pattern installation. Every single time you move your body with intensity, practice gratitude, visualize success, and set your intentions. You are teaching your nervous system a new pattern. You are saying to your brain, this is who I am now. This is what I do. This is my standard. And when you do this consistently, day after day, it stops being something you have to force yourself to do. It becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. The magic happens through consistency. And this is where most people fail. They do the morning ritual for 3 days, feel great, and then life gets busy and they skip a day, then they skip another day. Then they're back to their old patterns, wondering why nothing changed. Listen to me. Consistency is everything. If you want to rewire your nervous system, if you want to condition yourself for success, you need to do this every single day for at least 30 days. Not when you feel like it, not when it is convenient. Every single day, 30 days of consistent practice will fundamentally rewire your brain. The neuroscience is clear on this. When you repeat a behavior consistently, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with that behavior. Those pathways become highways. They become your default after 30 days of priming yourself every morning. Your brain starts to expect it. Your body craves it. You've created a new baseline. And here's what happens. Your confidence grows because you are keeping promises to yourself. Your energy increases because you are training your body to operate at peak levels. Problems that used to overwhelm you become manageable because you are approaching them from a completely different state. Your relationships improve because you are showing up as a different person. Opportunities start appearing because you are radiating different energy and noticing different things. Let me tell you something that will fundamentally change how you see the world. Everything is energy. You are energy. Every person you meet is energy. And here is what is critical. Energy attracts. Like energy attracts like energy. When you are operating from a state of fear, scarcity, and stress, you attract circumstances and people that match that frequency. When you are operating from a state of confidence, abundance, and certainty, you attract completely different opportunities. This isn't mystical. It is observable reality that you've experienced your entire life. You just haven't been conscious of it. Think about the times when you felt absolutely incredible. You are in a peak state. You are energized. You are confident. You are loving life. What happens? Opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. People want to be around you. Things flow. Coincidences happen. You meet the right person at the right time. You get the call you've been waiting for. Now think about the times when you've been in a terrible state. You are stressed. You are frustrated. Everything feels hard. What happens? More problems show up. People annoy you. Nothing goes right. Everything feels like a struggle. Same world, different energy, completely different results. The world is responding to your energy constantly. When you walk into a room, before you say a single word, people feel your energy. They don't know. They're feeling it consciously. But they are. Your energy is communicating everything about you. Your confidence level, your certainty, your presence, your emotional state, and they're making decisions about you based on that energy. This is why two people can say the exact same words in a business meeting and get completely different responses. It is not what you say, it is the energy behind what you say. It is the state you are in when you are saying it. Now here is what is powerful. You get to choose your energy. Most people think their energy is just a result of their circumstances. They think, well, I'll feel energized when I get the promotion, or I'll be confident when I lose the weight, or I'll be happy when I find the relationship. That is backwards. That is giving all your power away. Your energy isn't a result of your circumstances. Your circumstances are a result of your energy. When you take control of your state every morning, when you prime yourself to operate from peak energy, you literally start attracting different things into your life. You notice opportunities you would have missed. You take actions you wouldn't have taken. You connect with people in ways you couldn't have before. This is why the morning ritual isn't optional. If you want to create an extraordinary life every single morning, you are either deliberately choosing the energy you are going to bring to the world, or you are letting the world dictate your energy. And when the world dictates your energy, you are always going to be in reaction mode. You are going to be bouncing around based on what is happening around you. But when you deliberately engineer your state, when you consciously choose to operate from a place of gratitude, certainty, and power, you become a force, you become magnetic. Things start showing up in your life that weren't there before because you are radiating a different frequency. Now, let's talk about standards, because this is where everything comes together. Your life right now is a direct reflection of your standards, not your goals, not your wishes, not your hopes, your standards. A standard is what you are absolutely unwilling to tolerate. It is the line in the sand that you will not cross. Most people have very low standards for themselves, and then they wonder why their life doesn't look the way they want it to look. They say they want to be healthy, but their standard is to eat junk food whenever they feel stressed. They say they want financial freedom, but their standard is to spend everything they make. They say they want an amazing relationship, but their standard is to tolerate disrespect or disconnection. Here is what you need to understand. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you tolerate. If you tolerate starting your day by immediately checking your phone and letting the world hijack your attention, that is the standard you've set. If you tolerate feeling stressed and overwhelmed every morning, that is your standard. If you tolerate being reactive instead of proactive, that is your standard. And that standard is producing results. Maybe not the results you want, but results nonetheless. Your life is perfectly designed to give you exactly what you are currently getting based on the standards you are living by right now. But here's the beautiful part. You can change your standards at any moment. You can decide right now that you are going to raise the bar on what you are willing to accept from yourself. You can decide that your new standard is to take control of your morning, to own your state, to prime yourself for greatness every single day. And when you raise your standards, when you truly commit to living at a higher level, your life has to change. It is not optional. When your standards change, your behaviors change. When your behaviors change, when your behaviors change, your results change. When your results change, your life changes. Think about the areas of your life where you have high standards. Maybe you have a high standard for how you treat your kids. You would never tolerate being cruel or neglectful to them. It is just not who you are. That standard produces consistent behavior. Or maybe you have a high standard for your work. You would never turn in something sloppy or half done. It is beneath your standard. That standard produces excellence. Now apply that same level of standard to how you start your day. Decide that it is no longer acceptable to wake up and immediately react to the world. Decide that it is no longer acceptable to let your state be determined by external circumstances. Decide that your new standard is to take 10 minutes every single morning to prime yourself, to condition your mind and body for peak performance. So let me bring this all together for you, because everything we've talked about comes down to one fundamental choice that you are going to make. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. In this moment, you are going to decide whether you are going to take control of your life or whether you are going to continue letting life control you. And I want you to understand something. This isn't about motivation. Motivation is weak. Motivation comes and goes. Motivation is like taking a shower. It feels good for a while, but then it wears off. What we're talking about here is conditioning. We're talking about installing patterns in your nervous system that become automatic, that become who you are at your core. Every single day that you wake up and take control of your morning, you are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. You are sending a message to your brain. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who keeps commitments to myself. I am someone who operates at a higher level. And every time you hit the snooze button, every time you reach for your phone instead of priming yourself, every time you negotiate with yourself and say, I'll do it tomorrow, you are also casting a vote. You are reinforcing the pattern of being someone who doesn't follow through, someone who lets circumstances dictate their state, someone who settles for less than they're capable of. Here is what I know about human beings. We all have two lives, the life we're living and the life we're capable of living, and the gap between those two lives is massive for most people. They know they're capable of more. They know they could be healthier, happier, more successful, more fulfilled, but they're not living that life because they haven't changed their patterns. They haven't raised their standards. They haven't taken control of one thing they can absolutely control, which is how they show up every single day. Think about what your life would look like 1 year from now if you mastered your morning. If every single day for the next 365 days, you woke up and spent 10 minutes priming yourself for peak performance, moving your body with intensity, feeling genuine gratitude, visualizing success, setting clear intentions, every single day without fail, who would you be? How would you feel? What would you have accomplished? What relationships would you have transformed? What opportunities would you have created? Now think about what your life will look like 1 year from now if you don't change anything, if you keep doing what you've been doing, if you keep waking up in reaction mode, if you keep letting the world determine your state, if you keep tolerating low standards. Where will you be? How will you feel? Will anything have changed? You know, the answer, nothing changes if nothing changes. Your life will be exactly the same or quite possibly worse, because staying stagnant while the world moves forward is actually moving backward. The question isn't whether this works. The question is whether you are going to do it. And I am going to be honest with you, most people won't. Most people will hear this. They'll feel inspired for a moment, and then they'll go right back to their old patterns. They'll make excuses. I am too tired. I don't have time. I'll start Monday. It is too hard. And those excuses will rob them of the life they could have lived. But you are not most people. You wouldn't have listened this far if you were most people. Something inside you knows that you are meant for more. Something inside you is hungry for a breakthrough. Something inside you is ready to stop settling and start dominating. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Before you go to bed, set your alarm 10 minutes earlier than usual. Put your phone across the room so you have to get up to turn it off. And tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, before you check your phone, before you talk to anyone, before you let the world get its hooks into you, you take those 10 minutes, you move your body until your heart is racing and you feel alive. You think of 3 things you are genuinely grateful for, and you feel that gratitude in your chest. You visualize your day going exactly the way you want it to go. You write down your 3 most important priorities. That is it. 10 minutes. And then you do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And the next day, don't break the chain. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't make excuses for 30 days. You show up and you do the work. And I promise you, if you do this, if you really commit to this for 30 days without missing a single day, your life will transform, not because of some magic trick, but because you will have transformed. You'll have rewired your nervous system. You'll have installed new patterns. You'll have raised your standards. You'll have proven to yourself that you are someone who follows through, someone who keeps commitments, someone who takes control in. Here's what else will happen. Other people will notice. They won't know what is different about you, but they'll feel it. Your energy will be different. Your presence will be different. Your confidence will be different. Opportunities will start showing up. Relationships will improve. Problems that used to overwhelm you will become manageable. Why? Because you are operating from a completely different state. You are no longer reactive. You are proactive. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your experience. The power to change your life has always been in your hands. It has been there this whole time. You just haven't been using it. You've been waiting for something external to change, for someone to give you permission for the perfect moment to arrive. But the perfect moment is now. The permission you need is your own. The power you've been looking for is inside you, waiting to be activated. All you have to do is make the decision. Decide that starting tomorrow morning, you are going to take control. Decide that you are no longer willing to tolerate living below your potential. Decide that your morning, and therefore your life, belongs to you. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to take massive action? Or are you going to go back to the same patterns that have kept you stuck? The choice has always been yours. It will always be yours. Nobody can make this decision for you. Nobody can do the work for you. But if you make the decision, if you commit to the process, if you show up every single morning and take control of your state, I promise you, everything changes. Your health changes, your relationships change, your finances change, your happiness changes because you change. And when you change, everything around you changes. Now go do it. Your extraordinary life is waiting.